Hello, everyone. It's Listiner Inspires coming at you live with your Who Sent You the Purpose and Identity teaching. So today is Tuesday, right? Wednesday. My days are just getting mixed up. But today is Wednesday, August 5th, and so I'm on day 2. I am teaching from the Who Sent You the Purpose and Identity journal. Let me close this window if they're working outside. Alrighty, so hello everyone. Before I start the teaching, let me introduce myself. My name is the Listiner Inspires. I'm an award-winning author. I'm healing and recovery accountability expert coach as well as speaker. I am the founder and creator of Healing is a Journey, a quarterly series of conferences that are designed to help those who have experienced childhood abuse and or trauma to start to learn how to live their best healed life by providing them with tools, supports, resources, and solutions. And so I'm super excited because this quarter we are discussing purpose and identity. And so I will be teaching from one of my best-selling journal books called Who Sent You, which is the Purpose and Identity journal book. Today we are talking about shifting and speaking over your life. The importance of knowing what to speak over your life and how to speak it. I want to read from my book, page 3. If you have the book, read along. If not, if you want to get the book, there's 2 ways you can get the book. One, you can go on Amazon, or you can go to my website, listiner.com/shop and purchase the book. It's $12.95 plus shipping and handling. Or you can purchase your conference tickets for Healing is a Journey conference, which is happening September 19th from noon to 3. It will be a live virtual experience. And with their ticket purchase, not only get the link for the actual virtual conference, but you also get this book. You also get a downloadable Purpose and Identity worksheet. You get the replay link for the conference. So if you want to go back and watch it, if you for some reason maybe cannot attend it live, but you really want to experience it, get the replay link. You also get TGIM products. They are this year's sponsor, so we're super excited about that. There's a lot that you're getting for $25, and you just get access to the vendors and the speakers and all the amazing people connected to the conference. And so those are the 2 ways that you can get the book. So without further ado, let's talk about shifting and speaking over your life, right? I'm a big believer in speaking the things that I want to exist. I'm a big believer in speaking those things, even though it may not be happening right now, but I believe that with faith, anything is possible. And so a lot of times, and I've retrained how I speak about myself, and I've retrained how I speak about the things I'm going through. So for those who may not know, I am currently going through my recovery stage of breast cancer. I got diagnosed at the beginning of this year, had my surgeries, had my procedures, had chemo, and I'm going through radiation. And so a lot of times I say that I am healed from cancer. I am going through the recovery process where I'm getting the treatment and that it will not come back. And that is speaking over my life in order to shift the perspective of how I see things. Because I could very well be like, oh my goodness, I got cancer. I'm going through this. This is how I feel. And could just not even really do anything much. But all while I've been going through my journey of healing from cancer and now going through the recovery process, I was intentional and insistent on continuing to do the things that it takes to run my business, to make sure my brand stays relevant when it comes to the things of healing and recovery. And one of those things were being consistent with having the conferences each quarter and doing the teachings leading up to the conference, because I know that it is a blessing to be a blessing to others. But that all came by way of actually speaking over my life and learning how to use what I speak to shift the trajectory of how I see things. And so that's all been really faith-based. So let me read from the page 3 of the book. Why bother? Is there a reason? What makes me special? These questions can often be a stumbling block to hinder us from the greatness ahead. Now let's stop right there, right? I don't know about you, but I know there's times where sometimes in the past I've gone through so much, and I felt like it was always something. It was one thing, it was another. And I used to say, man, what's gonna happen next, right? And I've stopped saying that because I realized that was an open invitation to really just allow things to just happen, and so I had to learn how to shift and say, okay, well, for instance, yesterday did not go according to how I planned it. I had my first day of radiation, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come home from radiation, I'm gonna do my teaching, I'm gonna run some errands, I had to go pick up some things, and didn't work that way. I ended up leaving radiation. I went to a store, and my brakes stopped working right. So I had to shift my whole schedule and make it home, and then call the car place and have my son drive my car to the car place to get it fixed. Now my car is in the shop until Monday, which sets me back from a lot of things that I had planned on my schedule to do what I needed to do. And on top of that, the cost of the car was nowhere near where I would hope it would be when it comes to budgeting. And so I could have easily been upset. And then on top of that, my laptop stopped working, and I had to use my other laptop. But instead of me thinking, oh my goodness, all of this is happening, the day is gone, I looked at it in various ways. The first thing was I took the time to breathe. Because typically when I get up, when there's car trouble, when the car, cars break down, they have things that need to be fixed, I would just get anxiety. It would just really stress me out. I pulled over, I prayed about it. I said, okay, God, we're going to figure this out. Got my mind cleared, called my best sister friend, talked to me on the phone while I took my time and drove to my house. And I was thankful that I was not far from the house. I was thankful that I was not on the expressway running my errands. I was thankful that though the brakes didn't work, they were not working well, I was able to still get to my place and then get my car to the shop the same day. I was thankful that I had money saved so I could pay to get the car fixed. And I was thankful that I work from home and I run my business and I have my own schedule where I was able to shift everything around. So I started to think about all the things I was thankful and grateful for, because at the end of the day, it could have been much worse. I was thankful that though my laptop would not work, I had a backup laptop that I was able to use. I was able to use my phone and get stuff done yesterday. So that's shifting my mindset, because I was starting to speak over my life and being thankful for those things that could have happened but did not. But like I said before, there was a time where when things would have not gone my way, I would have been like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? I would have just been, the whole day for me would have just been done. And so learning how to shift and speak over your life is so important when it comes to the healing journey and connected to your purpose and identity. Because I know who I am in Christ, and I know that since I am a daughter of the Most High, that everything that happens, He causes all things to work together for our good. It's so in the Bible. And knowing that, I know that no matter what happens, there's always going to be an answer. There's always going to be a positive end result, even if it may not seem like that. So that keeps me from getting too stressed, too overwhelmed. Was I upset in the moment? I was, but I wasn't to the point where I was like the whole day was out of whack. I was able to shift. I came on a little bit later in time. I was able to do what I needed to do, though my schedule was pushed back, but I still got a lot done. I was productive. And so for me, I've learned how to speak and shift over my life. But when I was reading to you guys and seeing that sometimes we ask these questions when things don't go our way, right? Or we're just trying to figure stuff out. We start to think, why bother? Is there a reason? What makes me special, right? Let's tackle that first part. Why bother? When you're saying why bother, you're saying that you don't see yourself valuable enough to take the extra time. So for instance, say you had plans to do something. You had written out a business plan of what you wanted to do in your business, what you wanted to do in your life. You had goals and dreams, and life happened. Maybe, you've got a health diagnosis that has pushed you back, that's caused you to sit down and you need to rest more. And so that means that your timeline that you've written down is not going to become fruitful, but it's not going to be productive, because now you have some setbacks. And sometimes we get so frustrated with our setbacks and we just say, why bother? But when you're saying why bother, you're telling yourself subconsciously that you don't think you're worthy enough to make the extra effort. And though you have setbacks does not mean that you need to give up. Setbacks could be just me, God is redirecting you. God is saying not right now. And so when you know your purpose and your identity and who you are, when you understand how that kind of coincides with your healing journey, you know how to redirect your thought process, and you know exactly how to look at it. So instead of saying, why bother, you would say, not now. Okay, I get it. Let me redirect myself. Another thing we often say is there a reason? I feel like everything that happens in our life, even if it looks like it's negative, it can be used for good. It's all about that perspective. So there is a reason. For instance, when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, the flip side of it, I was upset, I was hurt, I was devastated. But the other side, I looked at it like, the reason that I got this is that I can understand what others are going through, and now I can help them on a different level, because my brand is about healing and recovery from trauma and abuse, and getting a diagnosis like this is traumatic. So I learned how to shift that perspective, and I learned how to look at it. There is a greater reason. Though I may not like what I'm going through at the time, I know that the greater reason is to help someone else who might be going through. Maybe it's an individual, maybe it's a family connected to that individual, right? Number 3 is, what makes me special? That is something a lot of us who have experienced trauma and abuse don't always see ourselves as special, right? Especially, hey sis, thank you for tuning in, Jasmine. Make sure you share. A lot of times when you've experienced trauma and abuse, we don't always see ourselves as special, because the abuser has made us feel like we're not. And so we have to gain that power back and understand that we are special. Just because somebody who do not know who mishandled us do not see us as being special does not mean we're not special. When God created us, He created us because we are special. He created us to be amazing. Jasmine Hill says, I definitely have to watch the replay. Yes. Definitely catch that replay. And so we have to understand that we are special. No matter what someone else has told us, no matter what a circumstance or situation has tried to tell us, we are special. And so those 3 things are the first part I wanted to address with you. Because once you understand that you should make the extra effort to redirect, it's okay to redirect, that there's a reason for everything that happens in your life, even if it does not feel good, and that you are special, then those are some of the stumbling blocks that you can remove out of your path as you press forward on your healing journey, as you press forward to be great, right? So I want to pose 3 questions to you. How can I make a difference, right? When you wake up every day, you should be thinking to yourself, how can I make a difference? And not on a global span, right? I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. It blessed me. The person told me that I was a blessing to their life, or answered prayer. And it blessed me. And I was like, I'm glad that I, 4 or 5 years ago, said yes to God. I'm glad that I said yes to God, and I took a chance on rededicating my life to Christ to really find out who I am. And the reason I say this is because there are nations connected to each one of us. There are people that's connected to us that's waiting on us, and maybe not physically waiting, but waiting on us to walk boldly into who we are, walk boldly in our purpose, so that they can get what we have, the knowledge that we have, the inspiration that we have, that business that can be birthed from us to help others, right? But if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you are called to, then there's people that's waiting and may not ever be able to get what you have because you haven't connected to who you really are, right? Catch that. So the question is, how can I make a difference? And sometimes when we think of how can I make a difference, we think of it global, right? Like, I want to stop global warming and I want to stop the violence. But sometimes it's just something as simple as working within your own family, being the change within your own family, changing a mindset, teaching people in your family how to budget, teaching people in your family how to love themselves, teaching people in the family how to think differently, right? Because how can you change, how can you help the nation if you first don't know how to help yourself and your family, those that are connected to you? So every morning, think about it. How can I make a difference? It can be something as small as reaching out to somebody you know is struggling and ask, how can I help you? Can I pray for you? Do you need something? That's making a difference. It's making a difference in one person's life. That one person's life has a nation connected to it, meaning that they have people that's connected to them. That's one thing. The next question you should ask yourself is, what changes can I make to be better? We all have room for improvement. I don't care where you're at in life. I don't care how many billions of dollars you have in your account. I don't care how successful that you are. There's always room for improvement. Like if you are a business owner, if you're always working on your business and your brand, because there's always something to improve. There's always something new to do, tweaks to be made. If you're not working on it on a daily basis, on a regular basis, then is it really something you want to do? Is it really something you enjoy, right? No matter what you are doing, there's always room for improvement. So start to look at yourself. When you're focused on how can I make myself better? How can I change some of the things that maybe I want to do better? For instance, maybe it's not a good example. I'll give an example. I always wanted abs. I had 3 children and my stomach isn't flat. And I was like, I want a flat stomach with abs. Then I started thinking, am I willing to exercise to get that? No. And if I get it, would it make me a better person? I'll be, I have a flat stomach, but is that something that really is making a difference or impact? For me, it's a no. It's more of a physical thing. And so I'm not that much interested in doing it. But something I do enjoy is reading. And one of the things I wanted to get back to was actually reading. Jasmine Hill said, period and amen. Yes. And so what I started doing was making intentional time to read. Why? Because I want to be knowledgeable. I want to be able to not just bring my life experiences when I coach and when I teach and when I mentor, but I want to bring actual book knowledge. And so I've started to take more time out to read. And so when you look at this, is not to say critique yourself and make a whole list of things that you don't like about yourself, but we all have certain things that we feel like we could be doing differently, we could be doing better. Maybe it's you feel like you need to exercise more. Well, start with the small things. Take more walks, do more stretches, maybe work out at home right now. Start with the small things, but there's always room for improvement because we're always growing and we're always going towards a direction of greater. At least we should be. The last question is that you should ask yourself, where would my efforts make the greatest, most positive impact? I'm going to repeat that. Where will my efforts make the greatest, most positive impact? Meaning, where we direct our time and our effort to is where things grow, right? That's where we're most impactful. So look at your life on a daily basis, right? Think of one day. How much time do you spend on social media complaining about other people's posts? How much time do you spend on the phone gossiping about other people's, what they're not doing? How much time do you spend complaining? Then how much time do you spend actually building a life that you enjoy and you love? And when you start to think about that, and if you're happy with the numbers, then fine. But if you're not happy, what are you going to do to change it, right? So for me, I try to make sure that my first portion of the morning in the day is spent thanking God with my coffee, my devotional time with God. I might read the Bible. I might listen to some praise and worship music. I'm doing something to fill my spirit up so that my spirit is filled to take on the day. Because I don't know what the day has for me. I have my own plans. Sometimes the day has its own plans. And so that's how I start to spend my time. Then after that, I start to work on my business and brand. And then I have my doctor's appointments, but I make sure that the first part of my day I give to God. Why? Because He woke me up this morning. I didn't wake myself up. Contrary to popular belief, I just pop up and like, hey, God woke me up. He breathed life into me every single morning. So that right there trickles down to how I do everything else. So when I say where will my efforts make the greatest, most positive impact, I am pouring into myself first and foremost, because I cannot pour from an empty vessel. So for me, that's the greatest, most positive impact, because if I'm trying to inspire people, I'm trying to motivate people, I'm trying to help people to start their healing journey, I can't do that if I'm broken, cracked, and stuff is spilling all over the place. I have to practice what I preach. I have to do what I teach. And so that's why for me, my greatest effort is myself. The greatest impact is pouring into me so that I can pour into others, right? So then when you're thinking about that, look at it on a perspective of who you are, who's connected to you, what you do, and try to shift that. I can very well tell you, like, minimize the social media time, stop gossiping, blah, blah, blah. But you have to figure out what's important to you. And you have to understand what's important to you. How does it make an impact on those connected to you? How does it make a difference in the world around you? Once you can start to think about that on a whole, then you can start moving towards, how do I shift and speak over my life to change it the way I want it to be? Because ultimately, we have the power to shift and speak over our life and make it so that we are at peace and we are feeling as though we're successful. Yesterday, I touched a little bit on success connected with purpose and identity, right? Now, I'm not an expert on success, but I can tell you right now, I'm at a place where I am successful. And everyone's definition of success is differently. But I'm going to explain to you why I feel like I'm successful. Why not why I feel like it, why I know I'm successful. Because I am living my dream. I am teaching, I am coaching, I am speaking, everything healing and recovery. Everything I've gone through, God is using to help others. I wake up and I set my own schedule. Well, I allow God to set it, but pretty much I set my own schedule. I have written books. I always wanted to be an author. I now have a journal line that's come out. And not just because I have accolades of different awards and boards that I sit on, but everything that I do, everything that's connected to me is connected to the purpose of who I am, which is someone that helps others to heal and recover. And did that happen overnight? No. In the beginning, I always thought of success as I needed this much money in the bank. I had to have this type of, title and this type of degree. And if that's what you measure your success at, I'm not knocking you for it. That's you. But for me, my greatest purpose and my greatest desire is to make sure that I am living a life that I am happy with, I am whole with, I have peace with, and that I am helping others and inspiring others on their journey of healing. Anything else outside of that is this extra. So having a car to drive, that's extra. Living in a home that I love, that's extra. But being able to wake up and live my dream and help other people, that's success. And so that is the teaching for today. If you have questions, if you have questions, comments, drop them in the comment section. If you're shy or you don't want to let people see your question or comments, slide in a DM. That is the only time that DMs are permissible for me, is if you're asking questions and you have comments when it comes to healing, when it comes to recovery, when it comes to all things Listiner Inspires. I thank you again for tuning in, for taking the time to listen and to take notes. And stay tuned to this page, because this Friday I have some awesome announcement about some raffles coming up. Hey. So thank you. Have a great day. Remember to be bold, be unashamed, and most importantly, be you. Love you. Blessings.